And Ms. London, what is your relationship with Danny Rolling now?
We continue to be close personal friends.
You know, why is that important? What I don't understand is that the law does not contemplate that as being an issue. Whether she hates him, whether she likes him, whether he likes her, that's not the point. The point is she has broken no law. She writes a book. You know, basically what this judgment says, Clara, if you decide that you're interested in a particular crime and you go to the courthouse and you pull the file and you do the research and you write a book, you're allowed to earn money for that. But if, in fact, you happen to speak to the person who's convicted and he cooperates with you in any way, all of a sudden you surrender your right in the state of Florida to earn money for your literary works. That's just wrong. It has nothing to do with whether there's a relationship between the convicted felon or not, unless the state can show that he is monetarily benefiting from that effort. Clearly, Danny Rolling is on death row. He is not allowed to have any money. The state hasn't even alleged that there's been any money received by Danny Rolling because it's an absurd argument. So, therefore, the state particularly says that the felons cannot profit from accounts of crime, nor people acting in their behalf. If he is deriving no benefit, then how could Sondra London be acting in his behalf?
Well, I'll tell you, the reason that I asked what their relationship now is, it may not be legally important and clearly would not be important to your appeal, but I think it is important in the sense of people are curious about the whole situation. So, close personal friends, Miss London, do you see him at all? Are you allowed to go visit him in prison?
Clara, the visitation issue was used by the state to manipulate Danny Rolling and to coerce his confessions. I was wrongfully withheld from visiting Mr. Rolling, and James Nylon, the state's attorney, was materially involved in coercing those confessions by using the hope that he would be able to visit with me. Now, the visitation was not withheld for any reason. It was wrongfully withheld, and then Mr. Rolling was given to understand that were he to cooperate, he would be allowed to visit me. I was brought into the prison by the state's attorney's office, and I was allowed to visit with Mr. Rolling once. After they got their confessions, why, then they turned around and sued me.
Well, how many times have you seen him face to face?
One time, Clara, the time that the state's attorney brought me into the prison in order to coerce his confessions.
And then we've also heard a lot about the cyber wedding between you and Danny Rolling. What is the status now of that?
It's still posted to the internet, and once again I would like to protest that any questioning along this line is merely a maneuver to separate me from my rights. Either everyone who publishes a true crime story, having had access to the source, who knows what happened there, either everyone comes under this law, or if only I come under the law, why, then I'm being discriminated against.
Or it's an attempt to just get the whole story out and not just look at the legal aspects, but to try and get the whole picture out.
But then you're talking about content of speech, which again is the most dearly protected form of speech. Once again, let's call it like it is. Clearly, it's unusual to have a journalist develop a personal relationship with a person who is accused and has confessed to committing such heinous crimes. That's very unusual. That the uniqueness of that event is not lost on us. However, the problem that we have, and the reason that we're somewhat emotional about this, is that in and of itself, having no legal merit, is being used to deprive a journalist the right to write a book and obtain money for it. If what she wrote is objectionable, if what she wrote is not appropriate, then people won't buy it. There are other, we have a free market in this society. There are ways that the society is protected. But to withhold money from people that have earned it as a journalist simply because they have a relationship, what's the next question? Well, you're allowed to be friendly, but you're not allowed to be romantic. Or you're allowed to be romantic, but you're not allowed to say you're in love. I mean, where are you going to draw the line? Either a person is a journalist writing a newsworthy story, which the fact that we're on national television right now tells you the newsworthiness of this story, or you're not. Clearly, there is no precedent that I can find anywhere in this country that provides for the type of action that has taken place in this case, and we sincerely believe this will be reversed on appeal forthwith.
Well, we will let that be the last word on the subject. Eric Block, thank you so much for coming to talk with us. And Sondra London, we look forward to talking with you as this case winds its way through the appellate system. Thank you so much for
Thanks again,
stopping
Clara.
to talk with us today. Raymond, we'll send this back to you in our New York office.